Okay, looks like we're going again. I need to do that. I need to learn to be a little more skillful on this. I see right now, holding this look a little more natural. Have to excuse me, this is my first option. No, so first of all, this is Gillis Street. And over here, right over here where I'm walking to, this house here has a large vat built in the basement. It's kind of interesting. There's no drain in it. It's on my app. There's a picture of it on my app. We won't bother the people in there. They did let me come in and do it. And take a picture of that and put it in my app. So you have to get my app to see a little more about this. So they made wine down there in the basement, and it was the interior, the backside of the basement was the winemaking room where the vat is. Then they'd bottle it up, put it in the jugs, let it ferment, and then bring it in the storage room. But then they said there was the person that brought me over there said there was tunnels down here, and we couldn't find them. We beat on the basement wall, we pricked at it, we did everything. And all of a sudden she thought, oh my God, I know where it is. We go out of the front door, and then down here, down below, there is a hole downstairs in the basement. And down in there, there's actually a boarded up door that's a tunnel that goes across the street to this house over here, and they would bottle up the wine, take it underground, and then distribute it out of that house across the street. It's a really, really old neighborhood. This goes way back. As you can tell, I'll stroll down here. Let's see, over here, oh well, let's walk down this way. Really interesting old houses. You almost feel like you're in New York City here, not Kansas City. So this house down here on the corner, I think it's a gallery now. See that old, what do you call that? Those iron railings up there. That looks like Hell's Kitchens almost, anyhow, down there on the corner. That place was what we called the Old Man's Club, and every city's got one. It's a club, a social club, where the older men hung out. Now the guys who were involved in the mob and really involved in it and were a little bit younger, and say their 20s and 30s and 40s, would hang out at the trap. But the older guys who were senior citizens and maybe not really in the mob, or had been when they were young but had gone on in some kind of business, they would hang out at that club down there on Gillis, and we'd drive by there, and we'd just see the old guys that, you know, you really didn't seem like they had any action at all anymore that you could tell. So, you know, these streets here, I don't know how many hours I spent driving up and down these. There used to be a club up on the corner up there. It's called the Happy Gillis's now. It's a pretty cool place to eat. But at the time, a guy named Bobby, God, what was his last name? I think it was Bobby Maroon. He actually managed the trap, but he also had a game going a couple of afternoons a week upstairs above the what was known as the Gillis Sundries. I can't remember who ran it back then. But it was kind of a beehive. You could tell with all the parking places were taken up along the street on the day that they would have the game. You could always tell where a game was, because they had games spotted around the town in private houses and places like that, apartments. Downtown, I'll have to go down there one of these days. They had this thing called Reliable Legal Services, and it was right across the street. What was interesting, it was right across the street from our offices in the intelligence unit, and we just sit up there and see who was going to the game. I'll never forget, we had a guy who was he was actually turned out he was an FBI informant. He was a professional criminal. And we first kicked that game up at Reliable Legal Services and saw some of these mob guys coming and going. About 2 days later, Bobby Jean Jones shows up, and a few years later we find out that he was an informant to the FBI. As soon as they heard about the game, they got a hold of him and told him to go over there and check it out. But that's Gillis Sundries. Really good place to eat now. Kind of a cool coffee shop vibe with interesting, different sort of sandwiches. But you see the architecture here is really interesting. I mean, this is like back east somewhere. This is not like Kansas City. It's the only place like it in town. I hope you guys can see that. It's kind of hard for me to tell if you can. But it's a pretty cool place to live now. If I was younger, I might want to live down here. I've gotten too old. I'm not part of that. I'm not going out partying everything every night. So, I see, hey, Don, See you're out here. We're talking about you. Talk to you later. Bye.